Well, well, well. 11 days, 11 videos. Who'd have believed it was possible in 2022, right? Seems like I haven't had this kind of consistency since, like, I don't know, 2009, 2010 maybe. I don't know if the videos are of any quality or not, but, you know, hey, I'm making them, so that's good, right? None of you guys, I mean, none of them have been big hits or anything so far, but you guys seem like you're consistently tuning in, which is cool. I see a lot of the same people tuning in over and over again every day. You know, I mean, most of these videos seem to be getting around 20 to 25,000, which is pretty good, I guess. I mean, considering they're daily. I feel like maybe if I left some of them alone for a while, they might go a little higher, but fuck that. We're doing daily. I already said we're doing it daily. So that's kind of cool, but I don't know. If my aspirations are going to come to pass, I definitely need to start reaching out to a bigger audience. I don't want to be like one of these YouTubers that, you know, just gets so view hungry that they just make like mass appeal trash, you know, to get the most people possible. Because I think a lot of times, you know, that's where the like grifter mentality is born. You know, it's like, ooh, they reward me when I say this. And so I'll almost say more of this. I'll lean into what I think people want to hear. But I mean, I don't really think that's like a good mentality for someone like me to have, you know, because I want to challenge orthodoxy, not just, you know, be a conformity enforcer that's like, yes, you're already right about everything. I don't want to challenge you at all. Here's your stupid point of view fed back to you, you know? I want to attract people who are a little bit more interesting than the kind of people who want that sort of thing. You know what I mean? I want to attract people who have, who, you know, at least feel that they have a great deal of potential, you know, but they've yet to realize it. Or maybe they have realized it, but not to the extent they want to. You know what I mean? I want to attract people who have like inner strength, people who are survivors, people who are free thinkers, people who understand that the world is suffering right now, and who are like, you know, longing for a more prosperous age in which to live. Because like who isn't really? But, you know, it seems like a lot of people want that, but they don't want what it takes to get there. And I want the people who recognize that you can't just go like, man, I sure do wish someone would create utopia already, you know? Because those people suck. And if you're one of those people, you suck. And that's okay. I suck too. You know, I've not been super proactive in this world. I'm trying to get better, right? You know, I want to like not only attract people who are, you know, sort of resistant to the crowd, you know, people who want to find a new way of being, but I also want to create that to an extent. And I want to have that created in me by the people that I have around me. I want a group of people who embrace new ways of seeing the world, who are, you know, hungry for the downfall of these traditional structures and the tired systems that uphold them. I want people who feel a bit disillusioned right now, people who feel a bit jaded, people who feel a bit cynical, people who are looking for something grander than what we have, yet content daily to, well, not really content, but like, you know, accepting of the fact that they daily have to trudge through like a million little pieces of like, you know, mundane dalliance with the various, you know, institutions of the 21st century. Like, I feel the hunger out there. I don't know if you guys feel it. I feel like some of you do. I don't know if I'm making sense. I'm trying to. I feel like there's this hunger that like burns in millions of you across this country, and probably millions, if not billions, more across the globe. Like, there's this hunger, but there's also this fear. And you're afraid that if you step out into the unknown, you're going to find, you know, the monsters of the abyss, basically. You're afraid to take that deep sort of dive, that leap into the abyss, because you're afraid that nothing's going to break your fall. But, like, I don't know, all change is like that. You know, it's why people fear change in the first place, even positive change. It's like, you know, the saying, like, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. You know, it's fear of the unknown. H.P. Lovecraft, who, you know, whatever his personal failings might have been, knew a thing or two about fear. He invented horror as it exists now. Like, he took it away from, like, the ghost story, you know, and he made it more about the the alien, the creature, the thing from beyond, you know? And he said, the oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown. And I think for that reason, nothing is harder than leaping into the abyss. Now, I say this stuff, by the way, as a very fearful person. I don't know if it's my nature or if it was my nurture. I had parents that were very like overprotective. I don't know how many of you guys have overbearing, overprotective kind of parents like I do. But you know, like my dad didn't even want me to ride a bike. He was that scared of like, no, you know, he was like mad at my mom when she bought me a bike, you know, and even then I had to wear the helmet and the not shoulder pads, the helmet and the elbow pads, the knee pads, the shin guard crap. I mean, just all kinds of ridiculous stuff, you know, all over me. You know, I felt absurd. You know, no one else in my neighborhood was wearing all that stuff, you know, when they were riding their bikes around. So I looked like a freaking doofus. But, you know, it was what it was. You know, my mom, that was the only way she was going to allow me to ride a bike is if I was, you know, if I had all that stuff on. And so I don't know if stuff like that kind of made me the more fearful person that I became, or if it's just something like innate in me. Because like the fact that I have two overprotective, fearful parents, it might be a genetic thing. I don't know if it's upbringing. I don't know if it's genetic. It doesn't really matter. It's in me, right? There is this sort of like fear that exists. And I'm not afraid of everything, right? I have fears. Most of my fears are pretty superficial things, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not afraid of a lot of abstractions, right? I'm more afraid of the like heights and spiders and snakes and, you know, stuff like that. Like a lot of more abstract fears, like fear of loss or fear of like general misfortune or malaise, or fear of like, I'm not going to achieve my legacy or whatever the hell. Those kind of fears are, you know, maybe like a little bit more, you know, like controllable or deal withable. You know, they're more tolerable. I have ways of overcoming them, I guess. Whereas I don't have, like, I cannot not be paralyzed by my fear of heights. Like, I can't walk by a high place without feeling like the strong, powerful urge to, you know, get away from the ledge or the window or whatever it may be, you know, because I feel this very disconcerting sense of like, you know, a vertigo, you know, where it almost makes me like dizzy in a way. So, you know, mostly I don't have very many abstract fears. Probably the most abstract fear I have is like pertaining to like social phobias. Like I'm wary of strangers. I'm uncomfortable drawing attention to myself in public, which I know is ironic. I'm uncomfortable doing something like painting my nails or something like that, which I've done before. There's been times, you know, way far back that I've had my nails painted, and I've not, the reason they're not just like always painted is not because I don't want them to be, because I actually really like it, but I don't like how it makes me feel when I'm out in public. I don't like painting my nails in public or having them painted in public because it's always made me sort of self-conscious. I've always felt like the strong urge to like hide my hands from people. I've never felt comfortable standing out in that way, even though like I've always stood out because I'm tall. And, you know, I don't usually have very conventional hair. I'm very pale. I act unusually, right? Even if I don't intend to, I'm very, like, fidgety. And, you know, I have a lot of, like, weird little, I don't know, quirks. Like, right now, I mean, they change based on the era of my life. Like, right now, my quirks are kind of like I click with my tongue a lot without really intending to. It just kind of involuntarily happens. I snap my fingers. Especially this one, I'll kind of just be walking along and just like snap it. And I'm not even really good at snapping, so it's like a lot of times it's pretty quiet. So otherwise, I'm actually kind of glad I'm not better at snapping, because otherwise it might be more attention grabbing than it is. And I've always been very fidgety and stuff. I mean, you guys have seen me like in videos and stuff, like doing the rocking back and forth thing. I'm not doing that right now, but my legs are going like crazy. You know, I've been clenching my jaw lately, which is kind of a new one. And I have these are pretty new things as far as like what's going on, like in terms of the nervousness and stuff. But like they're only new in the sense that they are like, kind of like the most recent manifestations of a long-standing sort of like nervousness, like this like nervous energy that just kind of broils within me all the time. Which, maybe that's ADHD, or maybe it's just, an excess of energy that I don't know what to do with, or whatever. But the first manifestation of it is I used to chew on things just relentlessly, like a teething freaking puppy or something. I'd have, when I went to school as a little kid, we had uniforms because I was at a private school for a time, and the uniforms had little collars and stuff, and I would just relentlessly sit there and like just gnaw on my collar, right? And all of my collars had, chew marks all over them. And, then I would chew on plastic things like the pen caps and like the little rings around the edge of like a Coke bottle, stuff like that. I just chew it. And then, I stopped doing that, but I started smoking cigarettes, and that was another manifestation of it that lasted for years. And now it's like I clench my jaw, too much, like I'll find myself just clenching it. And I'll cluck my tongue and stuff, especially if I'm in like a social setting and I don't really feel comfortable in the social setting, or I like am in a way like around people I'm not comfortable with. I'll start going, why? Because that's not a great thing to do. That's kind of attention grabbing, and snapping fingers and stuff. But these are not like lifetime things. These are just like the most recent manifestations of the same nervous energy that's been around me for a long, long time, long as I can remember, really. It's hard to overcome those weird little things, and it's equally weird or difficult to overcome fear. You can't really overcome your fear is the thing, which is to say you can't erase the feeling of fear from yourself. You can't just wave it away and voila, it's gone. And I think that's kind of what people want. I think people want there to just be like, I just don't want to experience the fear, but you're going to experience it. Like, that's why there's the old cliche about like, he is afraid, he's just facing his fear, right? Like that's what true bravery is basically, is not being afraid, it's facing fear. And we hear that, but we kind of just go, whatever. What we really want though is that first thing. We just don't want to feel the fear. But that's just not how it works. You just have to learn to deal with the emotion of fear. Just like I had to deal with the emotion of cravings when I quit smoking cigarettes, like I mean, to this day, 2 years and some change later, like 2 years, 1 month, I think at this point, since I've last had a cigarette or any sort of nicotine product whatsoever, and the cravings still exist very much. It's just like I'm better now at dealing with the emotion, but it's been a daily thing. You can't just quit smoking and be like, well, I've now defeated the smoking demon and I can move on, We want these things exorcised. Like the demon of smoking is exorcised from your being and now you're free, but it's not like that. You have to learn to deal with it. You have to learn to fight it and defeat it, not once, but every day for the rest of your life. And that's tough. Most people, I think, no matter what they want out of life, the main thing that holds them back is fear. And it's not just true of individuals. I'm talking about societies as well. Like there's so much fear in America right now. It manifests in a lot of ways, but it's essentially the same fear across the board, right? It's the fear of trying something new. It's the fear of embracing a new way of being. It's the fear of making radical changes to our society, because we would rather rot in stagnation than push ourselves forward to an uncertain future. Because if we try something new, it might not work. And even though what we're doing now demonstrably isn't working, at least the way it's not working is familiar to us. Oh, it's the devil we know. Much better than that devil we don't know, right? But that's not a mentality it's not a mentality of a winner. It's not a person doesn't win like that. A country doesn't win like that. No configuration of people wins through conservatism and fear and, risk aversion. Because if you look into like the biographies of like most major historical figures that have made big differences in the world, one trait that I'm guaranteeing you're not going to find very often, I'm not going to say you're never going to find it, but one trait you do not find often is risk-averse behavior. This country was founded by guys who, and like I understand they're pieces of shit in a lot of ways. You know, they had slaves, they raped slaves, they did nasty things. I get that. I'm not talking about like the founding fathers as these great moral angels that we should look up to as like, venerated compass. But one thing they did have, that you can't argue, they had balls. They were willing to commit treason against the crown in hopes of starting their own nation. And if they failed, there would be ropes around their fucking necks. That's ballsy. Now, if you want to achieve great things, you have to take great risks. That's true on a personal level. It's true on a societal level. Like no great work of art has ever shone above all the rest because it stuck to convention extra hard, you know? It did all of the tropes that you expect really, really well. You know, like that's a way you can make a good piece of entertainment, but you're not going to make a great work of art that way. You know, that's when, if you want to make a great work of art, you have to know how to defy convention. You have to know how to defy convention in such a way that what you're doing not only still makes sense, but is better than what came before it. And maybe it won't even be recognized immediately. Maybe it will take some time, you know, and that's something you have to accept if you're going to defy convention. But without defying convention, you're never going to do something great. You know, it takes courage, and it's not, you know, you can't, we talk about great military leaders, great politicians, great actors, great architects, any sort of, you know, person that excels in the area where they are, you know, driven to succeed or where they have ambition. All of those people are risk takers. All of them. I mean, maybe there's an exception or two here and there, but like by far, but you know, like most of them, by and large, almost every single frickin' one. Just go like read the biographies of frickin' people who changed the world. It's not like, and then they made the safe, normal decision. Because if they did that, they wouldn't, there's not going to be a fucking book about them, okay? Unless, like, sometimes people are just in the crazy place, crazy circumstance, and history just throws greatness upon them. But that's not the common way that it happens. You know, and it takes a lot of courage. It takes looking the fear of failure in the eye and saying, like, fuck you. Not just once. Not just once, and it's defeated. You have to do it every single day, even when you don't feel like you can, even when every part of you feels like a failure, even when there's not an ounce of strength left in your entire body, your entire spirit, your entire being, and you just feel like, fuck this. I give up. I don't want to fucking fight anymore. I'm just so tired. I'm so weary. You still have to reach deep the fuck down inside. Look the fucking failure demon in the eye and just say, fuck you. Because I'm not going to be your bitch. I'm not going to be beholden to you. Because you're just a nattering little chattering voice in my head. And there's nothing good that's going to come of you. Listening to you has never wrought greatness for anyone. It's never yielded one good fucking result in all of history. You suck. Go fuck yourself. And that's hard, though. It's hard for that because that demon is persuasive. You know, that voice of, you know, fear of failure is a persuasive voice. You know, but instead of using your fear of failure to just be like, well, I give in. I give in and I give up. You have to use that as like a fire under your ass. But that way of being, that's a taxful place to live. That's a stressful place to live. It's a trying, grinding, you know, soul-breaking, back-breaking place to exist within. But it's how we have to be, because it's the only mentality, in my opinion, that can save us. Because timidity is going to kill us. Passively waiting for someone else to come be our savior is going to kill us. Stubbornly clinging to the way things have been done is going to kill us. Retreating into tradition is going to kill us. Being afraid to embrace new ways of seeing and new ways of being is going to kill us. It already is. And I guess that's it for today. I hope you all have a great one. Love you all. Peace.